Okay, so I wanted to make a little bit of a shorter video today that breaks down a little bit from what my previous video went over. It was a pretty long video. It discussed a really long horizon market cycle. And now I kind of just want to zoom in a little bit and try to break down some of these ideas so that it could be a little bit more thorough. I did have some people reach out to me and they said that it was a lot of information for one video. So what I'm going to do with these next couple videos is I'm just going to break it down and make it a little bit more simplified. Bear with me. I'll be making content maybe every 2 or 3 days. I'm in the middle of working on a cryptocurrency mastermind for a couple of people. And if anyone's interested, please feel free to comment and we'll get you onboarded to that. All right, so this time horizon that I have right now, this little chunk that I have is between January 1st, 2020 and January 1st, 2021. It's these big yellow lines you see on the screen. Up here is the current price. Don't look at that, just disregard that. It doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to discuss this phase, these three boxes here. We don't need to break down the meanings behind any of them, but we will just describe what's going on in these phases. So in this spring, this moment is actually, according to the Wyckoff accumulation method, which is what I went over in my previous video, this moment is when bull markets start. So think of this as the moment where everything is going to start heading in an upwards trajectory, heading towards new all-time highs. A lot of people in the Bitcoin space on YouTube, they just like to be very overly bullish all the time. And then there's these people that are overly bearish. And what I want to do with my content is try to step away from this idea of that these little price dips or these little price pumps like here are like the beginning of the end or the start of all of us becoming rich. These market cycles have longer time horizons, and people need to understand that every time there's a new all-time high, the new market, although it will happen in a pretty predetermined timeline, the amount of money that will grow, the percentage gains are all relative to time. So when the first bull market happened in Bitcoin, the time horizon was very short. Then, when the new all time high was met 4 years later, the time horizon was around double. So, I'm not here to say that the amount of time it will take between this spring and the all time high will be double or triple or quadruple. I'm just saying that this moment, called the spring, is the start of a bull market. Now, is there an opportunity for the price to get close to as low as this again? Sure, anything is possible. But it wouldn't really be categorized as this moment. So, what that means is the amount of time that it took between this falling down right here on this time and it getting back to essentially where it left off before it tanked like this, that will happen faster. So that means is if we had a price that wanted to just decide to just plummet, it will come back quick. And that's really good news. And we've seen this happen in so many market cycles that it's not even worth going over. I know this is a little more advanced, but I kind of want to bring on a slightly more advanced crowd into here. If you have any questions about what I'm going over, please leave them in the comments. So this amount of time that it took from the spring to where we peaked and pretty much recovered, it's about 100%. It took 56 days, so less than 2 months, and that's actually really fast. Why was it so fast? Well, because it was a black swan event. The black swan event was the markets crashing. So around this time, March 13th, Friday the 13th, was when the whole stock market receded quite a bit. So Bitcoin, because it's its own asset who takes up a majority of the market cap for the entire cryptocurrency market, it came down along with it, which means that there's correlation between the stock market and in the crypto market. I don't really want to get too much into that correlation on this video. I just want to describe the actual moments that we've experienced and the one that I believe we're about to experience. Okay, so let's just say 56 days was nothing. So if we were to have another drop down, I believe it would happen maybe 20 days. We would experience prices low, but we will come back and recover very fast. So that's why I'm taking this bullish or bearish sentiment in the beginning and I'm sort of just throwing it away. I don't really care, and I don't think anyone invested in these markets should care. If we see a price that comes down really fast and then pops up, right here will be a beautiful moment to buy. I will be buying everything at this point, and I think a lot of bearish YouTubers would agree. If we start seeing prices that come down as low as here, meaning they're breaking below this test range, I will expect the buyback to happen really quickly because I understand the fundamentals and I know where we are at in this market cycle. So to make a little bit of sense of this real quick, I'm going to put a line right here. Just quickly, I don't really want to take too much time with this because it's not that important. But I'm going to put another line right here at this peak. So essentially, right now, we were in this area for a while. This area is called the test. It's when we recover from the spring. So we spent this amount of time before we tested a new high. Okay? So when we broke through this red line, what happened was we got up pretty high. We were testing levels in the previous cycle, which we'll cover in another video, but we were testing these levels and then we got rejected. Now, when we got rejected, all we did was came back to this red line, which is testing the high peaks of this test zone, which also line up with the previous highs before the Corona crash. We'll just call the spring the Corona crash. Okay, so we tested, we attempted to break through, got denied, and now we're coming back. We tested, and I personally believe if we break through this level right here, this red level, which is around 10,000, so let's just say if we break through 10,000 and we actually confirm the breakdown, we will have a LPS phase. And I believe that what will happen is we will have to watch out because we will most likely break. Then we'll start getting resistance around this level right here because this level of 9,200 is a predominant amount of the trading range that the test went through. And I'll put that line right there. Okay, so really, it'll get stopped out around 9 grand and it'll want to make some moves, but I personally believe it'll take a lot to get it to break down further. And like I mentioned in the previous video, that moment could be from them saying, the government saying that there will not be a second stimulus, or saying that all of Europe is going to shut down again because of the coronavirus, or saying that there won't be a vaccine for 5 years, whatever bullshit that they need to spread to get people to have fear. It will bring fear to the market, and then that will essentially create a repeat of this moment here when it starts to crash down. Now, so I'm going to show you a trend line, and that trend line will start at this peak. Let's just say I want to be safe, and I want to draw this line here through to be that tap point. So what will happen now is if we have a worst case scenario, it will drop down, and I believe the furthest we can see is about a 7,500. Like about a $7,500 Bitcoin is about the lowest I could see if we were to crash. So let's just be hypothetical. Boom. And then we will sharply move up, like very fast. And I believe we will crush through all this red line, this red line, this red line, and this red line. But what will happen is now it will meet resistance on this trend line. This is what I believe will occur. Then we'll just trade sideways until we have an official breakout. Okay, this is kind of how it works. It likes to play games with all of us. And that's why I don't really care too much about these day-to-day movements, but it's just to show you that this possibility of us breaking through this level is very high. It's not, it's by no means something that's impossible. And these YouTubers that make very, very bullish content, they want to make this idea that this isn't possible. And I'm just here to say that it is. It is very possible. This event that we're living through right now with the upcoming elections, it's going to be a crazy environment for everyone. So, what will drive these sorts of movements? Like I said, we have a couple of things to look out for. One would be the stimulus update, which I think is happening tomorrow. Another thing that can move these markets really fast is tonight. It is September 29th. There is a presidential debate, which will be a minstrel show. It'll just be two trolls going against each other, putting on a show for everyone to believe that this is all real. It's all a game, and Wall Street runs the whole show. So if you don't believe in what I just said, it's okay. You don't need to watch this content. You don't need to subscribe. This is just the way it works. Now, it will actually affect the markets, though. So if we get bad news, break through this level, expect it to come tap down on this level at 9,500. Then it'll break through to this level, to 9 grand. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm not saying that will happen. Okay? If we have a debate that goes okay, and then tomorrow they discuss second stimulus, I believe we can literally pop up within a week. This is how fast this could all work. Now, the best case scenario is if we pop up, we're going to get resistance at here, which is the $11,100 level. So what we want to see is it breaks through to the $11,200 level. If it does that, then we will be breaking up and testing around 11,500. And then after that, it'll be essentially all about 12,000. 12,000 is what matters a lot in this whole game, because this $12,000 area is a psychological resistance. It's just a number. And the reason why it matters so much is because it's a big, bold number. So it's just like us coming down to test 10,000. And it'll be just like us falling down to hit 9,000. These big, solid, round numbers are just what the market likes. And it's unfortunate that it works that way, but that's just the way it is. So now that we're here approaching an LPS stage, we could have a lower LPS, like I mentioned, which will break through and quickly get resolved. I believe the elections, up until the elections on November 3rd, which is this dotted line, that's where things will get crazy. I expect a lot of craziness to happen. So I believe we need to get through the elections to start seeing any trigger symbols of an upcoming bull market. Like I said, I think what will happen is we'll have a shaky time to the elections, maybe play around a little bit. Then after the elections, we'll see. But I think we'll come up hard. Then we'll come into this area, get around 13 or 14K near the holidays, which is right here. This yellow line is January 1st, so around the new year. And then we will come down. And then we'll come down, and it'll be to retest this $12,000 level as new support. We'll come down, we'll play in this area, and then around May, new time high, new all-time high. This phase right here, excuse me, drag this over here. This phase, after it gets to this new high and then trades sideways a little bit, is called the BU, the backup phase. This is the phase where you want to be buying more crypto, and then that'll be the last time because after that it will be, you know, $20,000 Bitcoin probably in just a couple days, like we saw in 2017. So that'll be future videos, but I just wanted to quickly break down where we are at in the cycle and why this spring is the start of the bull market. because it just is. It always is. And this is a pattern that's been going on since the 1800s. It's a insane idea, but it does repeat itself, and it's all about being patient. Right now, we're waiting. We are waiting, and we're accumulating because we're still in an accumulation phase. The accumulation phase is what happens before the new all-time highs. So we need to just be patient. I wouldn't be day trading right now. I wouldn't even be swing trading right now. That's just, it's very complicated. You'll lose a lot of money because all that could happen is the debate tonight, and then boom, our price could shoot up, or boom, our price could drop down. So nobody knows the future, but we do have data and we do have market cycles to determine where we could go. And this is playing out like a classic Wyckoff accumulation. The next video I'll make, it'll be discussing Ethereum and XRP a little bit. XRP is my personal second favorite crypto in terms of where I would allocate a majority of my portfolio. And then I'll break down a little bit why I'm really into XRP, where it's at in its market cycle, and how it will shatter the all-time high prices of the previous cycle. And when it does that, that's where the wealth transfer will occur. Because anyone who's invested in XRP right now, you're about 15x away from the potential of the previous all-time high. And there's a lot of people out there that I trust that understand the fundamentals of XRP, what its role will be in the future with the digital dollar project, CBDCs. And if you guys are interested in any of that information, drop a comment down and I will make a video about it. Okay, peace out.